Well, we are now getting reports about a test screening for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And I have to say, the news has caught me, well, quite a bit off guard. Let's take a couple minutes to break down all the Atlantean news, both good and bad, and talk about what's coming out of the most recent screening of the next Aquaman movie. Well guys, I wasn't totally truthful there because there really is no good news coming out of the test screenings for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Warner Bros. Discovery recently held a full-on viewing of the picture, and boy, the initial response to the project has been about as negative as anything I've ever heard from a DC project. Now, I want to be clear before we dive in, test screenings are not the final release of a product, and movies can undergo a lot of changes. Additionally, studios take this feedback pretty seriously, so even though we're getting some really bad news now, the film in final release in December could be significantly better. Now, the leaks coming out of the test screening are coming from us in multiple directions, but they're all pretty universally the same. The movie is being called the worst DC movie yet, and according to multiple reports, it is absolutely terrible. Now, the world of scoopers, where a lot of these reports are, tends to live on sensationalism, but we're also getting very similar reports from various industry insiders. One of these comes from Jeff Snyder, who's a reporter for The Angler, editor for Below the Line, and works for LA Magazine. So let's check out what he said. In a recent tweet, he said, "I hear it's terrible, and that's why Momoa is going to be Lobo going forward. But they can't say it yet because then it would be a lame duck, and DC is hoping to wring another billion out of the box office." Now, I have to say this does catch me by a little bit of surprise. I didn't hate the first Aquaman movie, but it definitely wasn't one of my favorites. But it was good enough to bring in a lot of money. James Wan is known for doing some quality movies, and I am kind of shocked this initial round of feedback is so negative. Additionally, these test screenings seem to have confirmed another bad bit of news we reported on a couple of weeks ago. Apparently, those reports of all the extra cameos being removed from the movie are indeed true. If you remember correctly, it appeared Ben Affleck was going to return as Batman as part of one of the end credit scenes, and Michael Keaton had also shot scenes for that. The reports of those scenes being removed appear to have been confirmed at the test screenings, although I guess they can return in final edits should DC decide later on. Now, all of this is really interesting because we've heard conflicting reports about Jason Momoa's future and his status as Aquaman. The long-running rumors of a potential Lobo project seems to be given more fuel based on these reports that Aquaman 2 is really bad. James Gunn has confirmed he wouldn't have the same actor playing two roles in the DCU. So it feels like if this movie really does come across as bad as people are talking, it could be the last time Momoa plays Arthur Curry. Now, to be fair, the first Aquaman movie, well, was not for everyone. But it did manage to rake in over $1 billion at the box office and was a really big hit for Warner Bros. Prior to James Gunn taking over DC Studios. Now, like we were saying, studios really do take these test screenings very seriously, and they have until December to make changes to the movie, so I'm sure they're going back to the drawing board a little bit, back into the edit room, and are going to make some significant changes to the movie. I really would hate to see the last real entry in the old DCEU go out with a whimper. Momoa has always been a lot of fun as Aquaman, and even though he's quite the change from the comic books, he really does bring some fun flair and energy to the character, and a modernization that many fans seem to embrace. Additionally, I still have a lot of faith in James Wan, who has made some really great movies, but I want to wait and see the final product before I make any judgments, but a really bad test screening is sometimes a massive sign that a film has huge problems and will require some retooling. The fact that it doesn't release till December gives them quite a bit of time to do this work, so let's hope for the best.